Hello, busy dads and busy people everywhere. I'm currently in the middle of the process of moving into the new house. It's taking a while, we're nearly there. But I wanted to take a brief pause and take the opportunity to begin the work of answering some of the very, very good questions that people put to me in a recent video where I solicited for questions that people might want to see a video discussing. And this question comes from Chris Jones, and Chris is a long-time follower of the channel, someone I've been in contact with directly. And Chris asked a question that I think will resonate with a lot of you. It's a question about the extent to which you should allow your state of motivation going into a workout to affect the workout goals that you set for yourself. So Chris begins by describing a scenario that should be pretty familiar to anybody with a burpee training practice. You don't feel like training. Your weekly training plan has you training today, but for whatever reason, you're just not in the mood. It could be a physical thing. Maybe you had some beers last night and you're feeling a bit hungover. Maybe you didn't sleep well. Maybe you ate too much an hour ago and this is your only window to train. Maybe you feel dehydrated, but you don't have time to run around looking for water. It could be a mental thing. Maybe you've got a super busy, hectic day like I have today, and you don't really feel like you've got time to be setting aside for working out. Maybe you just feel lazy and depleted today. You're just not up for it. Maybe you're stressed and distracted. Whatever it is, you know that you're meant to be training today, and you're committed to doing that, but you don't feel like it. And Chris asks, when you're in that situation going into a session, should you A, press forward with the training goal you've set for yourself, even if it's a very demanding training goal? Maybe today you were supposed to be looking for a PR. Or B, should you tailor the workout goal to make it much more manageable so that the whole prospect of training is less intimidating? So what are my thoughts on that? It's a great question. And I want to preface my answer to this question with the following observation. I have learned through 4 years of burpee training that the way I feel going into a session, even the way I feel in the first 1 or 2 or 3 minutes of a session, is a very poor indicator of how well I will perform in the session. I've gone into sessions feeling so good that 3 minutes in, I'm thinking about what the thumbnail is going to look like for the video where I'm celebrating a new PR, and then I tank. And I've had workouts where I'm in the middle of some super stressful situation. I go in, first minute or two I feel creaky and cranky, and I come out with a PR. So what I have learned is that the way you feel going into a workout is a very poor indicator of how you're going to do. And so with that in mind, I think it would be a real shame if you restricted yourself to a mediocre workout on a day when you are not feeling up for working out. Very often what happens is you don't feel like it, but then the second you start the workout, there's this energy that comes out of you. You're rejoicing that you're training and you power through the workout and you do really well. And my worry is that if you go into a workout having promised yourself that you're just going to go on maintenance mode and cruise through it, you are depriving yourself of the possibility of that kind of excellent performance because you've put a ceiling on the workout and you've put a very low ceiling on the workout. On the other hand, I appreciate that in the kind of demotivated state that Chris described, that we've all found ourselves in, the prospect of an extremely demanding workout, it might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It might be the reason that you don't train. And we're all about consistency here on the Busy Dad program. If the way that you're thinking about your workouts is so intimidating that it's stopping you from showing up, we've got a big problem. So how should you approach the workout if, on the one hand, you don't want to put too low a ceiling on it so that you're robbing yourself of the possibility of an excellent performance, but on the other hand, you don't want to be so uncompromising with your vision of the workout that you ultimately either perform very badly or simply don't show up at all because it's too intimidating. What's the middle ground? And the middle ground that I've come to favour is going into every session with a pretty clearly defined zone that you want to end up in. Rather than looking for one number, what I try and do is have a plan A. That's the highest number that I'm going to look for. That's the number that I'll be celebrating if I hit. And a plan B, which is a much more comfortable number that might be 5 or 10% lower than the high number. And I go into a workout telling myself, right, if you feel good, push for plan A or as close to plan A as possible. If you feel as bad 5 minutes into the workout as you're feeling now, settle for plan B and that's fine. That gives me a bit of plasticity, a bit of flexibility, and that allows me to negotiate the way I'm feeling in the context of the workout. It doesn't rob me of the possibility of hitting a PR or an excellent performance, but at the same time, it takes away a lot of the intimidation so that I can always get started, because I can always tell myself, if this feels bad, we can just resort to plan B. So to give you an example, I might go into a workout looking for 300, but I might tell myself, I'm feeling pretty crap this morning, I'm not really up for it. I'm going to set 280 as my baseline. And I'm going to try to push for 300. I've got a plan. I'm going to be going 15 reps a minute. But if I'm 6 minutes in and I just feel really awful, I'm going to have a way of pulling back to have a couple of 13 rep minutes and work towards 280. So Chris, I hope that mindset is one that you can try out for yourself in your training, and to anybody else who is trying to negotiate a state of demotivation. Try this plan A, plan B zone when you're approaching your workouts. That way you won't come away feeling like you failed if you don't hit plan A, but at the same time you won't go into a workout having robbed yourself of the opportunity for a big performance that helps you progress towards your goals. Hope that's helpful, my friends, and stay tuned for another video dealing with some of those questions very soon.